Welcome to the Sales SOS podcast, where we answer your sales distress calls. I'm your host, Liz Heiman, bringing the rescue boat to your sales challenges. In this ever-changing sales environment, it's easy for leaders to feel adrift. We're here to be the beacon guiding you to success. Each episode, I'm joined by top sales experts and practitioners who have navigated this waters and come out victorious. Together, we'll uncover the insights and strategies that will help you hit your sales targets and grow your business. So if you're ready to turn your sales distress into sales success, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's topic. Hi, I'm Liz Heiman, and this is your Sales SOS podcast. I'm here with your Sales SOS podcast crew, Brynne Tillman,
Hi.
Chris Bowen, Darryl Praill, and Renee Bigelow.
Hi.
And today, because Halloween is just around the corner, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. And I wanted to talk about what are the spooky things that salespeople do. And Brynne said, let's talk about the creepy things that salespeople do. So regardless of if they're spooky or creepy, let's talk about the things that really give salespeople a bad name, give the whole industry a bad name. We are your Sales SOS podcast crew, and we are here to help you increase sales. So, all right, you guys, dig in, have fun. What are the things? Brynne's going to start us off.
I'm just going to list without explanation 13 things. Overly personal questions, persistent follow-ups with no point, invasive and inappropriate compliments, something like, really impressed by your background, and right? Pressure tactics, and we go back to what we were talking about before, like, if one close it today, right? Guilt tripping, fake enthusiasm, name dropping without permission, using scare tactics, ignoring boundaries, excessive flattery. So not just one time, but like over and over. It can, especially as a woman, it could get very creepy. LinkedIn connect and pitch, bait and switch, ghost and post. Those are my.
I love that. Let's dig into some of these. What add to the list, or let's dig into some of these. What are your thoughts on creepy salespeople
I'll add
behavior?
One. This one's maybe a little bit of a special one for me, because we have tracking on lead generation and things like that. We often can see people's behavior on our site when they clicked on emails, when they've viewed different things. Do not say, I saw you were on our pricing page, right? I saw that you visited our website yesterday at 4:04 and 30 seconds p.m., right?
And it's now 4:04 and 31 seconds a.m.
Yeah. So,
I see you have moderate buying interest.
Is pretty creepy, and they will hang up or abandon you right away. There are much better ways to do that.
Yeah, I had a call that said, I see you have moderate buying interest. That's what the CRM told them about my activity.
Yeah.
Okay. That goes from creepy to just not too bright.
I just said not anymore.
Interest in me later.
I'm cured.
Yeah.
What else have you got?
I mean, you guys are going to rock. I mean, I don't, how do I put this carefully? I strongly suspect that the women are going to have way more of these than we men are. That's my gut feeling. I didn't have 13. I had a handful. I had nonstop views of my profile. Once or twice I get it. After a while, that's just creepy. Wanting to text me outside of office hours, and then the conversations go everything except related to the actual deal we're talking about. That was just not good. Brynne hit this one. I had it as well. Sucking. I called it sucking up. I think Brynne, you might have said lots of flattery, but I called it just outright blatant suck up.
I'm going to change it to that. Thank you.
cliche messages and frameworks that are the flavor du jour on use this format and this wording, and you'll get a 25% response rate. And they think they're being original when I get it. That's not so much creepy as it is just annoying and disingenuous. I would like to say nonstop flirting, but unfortunately that doesn't happen for me, but I suspect it does with others. So there you go.
I will say from a buyer point of view, hitting my personal cell phone without permission, whether it's a phone or a text.
Yes.
Like if you're going to or my Facebook or my Instagram or something like that is very clearly, if you look at a social media account, it's very clearly just me and my kids or something like that. Like, and I'm not talking or posting about work, like not the right channel. It's going to tell me I don't want to do business with you if you can't respect the boundary from the very first time I interact with you, right before I buy the sale. If you can't respect a boundary, what the hell's going to happen? Oops, sorry. What the heck's going to happen after we start doing business together? I was the one today.
So I will tell you, even my cell phone is my cell phone. It's my personal and my business. If somebody texts me and they don't have permission, I block them.
Good for you.
They don't have permission. You can reach out to me in a number of ways, but you do not have permission.
I did the same as Renee. Like for me, Facebook is friends and family. I keep that one, right? LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Instagram. I'll talk to anybody, I'm whatever. But when you're all over me in the Facebook and then you say to me, why haven't you accepted my friend request? I'm like, go away, dude. Like you can see there's nobody else in the industry there. So yeah,
that's it.
Well, I think the other thing is if you're heading down the stream of personalization and you act as if you have a particular interest and you don't, and it shows like really, really fast. So it's like, you saw something, you decided you were going to latch onto that, but you don't know anything about it. And so now I'm like, okay, you have no credibility in my eyes. And it may have had nothing to do with your product, what you were selling or anything else. It's just now I'm like, I can't trust this person. So.
I have two things. So the first one is cultural. So it's not a blame. I just want this to be a re-education for anyone who's selling to women in the US. Don't start with hi, dear.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
Okay. So
it's scary you have to say that. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. And I'm sure that Renee and Liz have both felt this numerous times. I can't imagine that they haven't. The other thing, and this is actively happening now, and if he happens to be listening, maybe he'll get the point, but I had a vendor who disappointed. Let's just say that. It was through Facebook. It was for personal whatever, right? So I disconnected from him as a friend. And now publicly, I put a picture of my grandbabies up and he'll write, hey, Brynne, I sent you a connection request. Somehow we got disconnected. Please accept in the comments of a picture of my grandbabies, which makes me, I just hide it so no one else sees it because it's so inappropriate. And I don't even want to give him anyone visibility into him. But 3 times now this has happened on my content. Do I block him? Maybe, I don't know. But the bottom line is that is so inappropriate to do that. It makes me want to connect way less. Okay, that's all off my back.
And I think that AI is creepy sometimes. So we're now using AI to, and Brynne mentioned this earlier. So AI is going to go on and look at my website and then, or my LinkedIn profile, and then it's going to create a message. Hi, Liz. I'm so impressed with the way you, take the chaos out of sales. And I really would be honored to meet you. And these are AI generated and they're just creepy. So if your AI is generating your content, look at it, or connection requests, look at it really closely and make sure it isn't creepy. To me, that's just creepy. And by the way, I know what my website says. You don't need to tell me. I'll tell you another one I think is really creepy is when you act as though because you sent me a message, I have some responsibility to respond to you. Hi, I've sent you 3 messages now and you haven't responded. I mean, I actually have done that. I did that with a prospect recently. I'm like, and it is a different kind of situation. It isn't just cold. And I was like, hey, you guys, I've called you 5 times. Can somebody respond? And they did. And we were like, so sorry, Liz, we meant to talk to you. But this idea that because you wrote to me, I have some responsibility to you, and you're going to, this guilting that Brynne talked about earlier, you're going to try and make me feel guilty because I haven't responded to your 75th email. Like, well, I'll respond if and when I want.
I'll add to that one, and I'll probably speak up for a lot of marketing people in this one, because marketing people are the target for a lot of salespeople, right? Because we buy a lot of things, a lot of tech, things like that. The scare tactic that usually goes with that is the creepiest to me is, are you going to respond to me? If not, I'll have to call your boss or something
Yeah.
And I will tell you, at least in the organizations I've been a part of or where I have clients, that's never, like, if they've hired me already and I walk down the hall and say, heads up, you're probably going to hear from some creep who's saying this, just wanted you to know, like, why I'm blowing them off or whatever. Like, it's very rarely are you going to win that argument if they've hired whoever, right? Like, that one to me is just like, it's like threatening, right? Like it's
well, or when you make threatening, I'm going to take you off my list is a threat. Okay,
let me help you. Unsubscribe. Done.
That is being taught. Literally, a sales training company teaches, I haven't heard back from you, and I've sent 3 emails and 2 voicemails. Please let me know if you're no longer interested because I can destroy your file. That
have a party.
There is that you're not responding already. So if you get pissed off and don't respond, no harm, no foul. You've not cost me anything. And if it works and you do respond, then it's a win. That's their logic. What they don't understand is that you, in fact, 9 times out of 10, call the company out, not just the rep. And you and your colleagues no longer want to do business with them. It's so short-sighted. It's so transactional, but they're oblivious to it. It pisses me off.
I also hate when they act like they know me. Hi, Liz. Like they'll put it in. It's like, I don't know you. Do I know you? Okay, can I tell you something else I think is creepy that I've been getting lately is, hi, Liz, I helped Jennifer increase her sales by 30% by doing whatever. And then I'm like, yep. Who's Jennifer? Like, am I supposed to know who Jennifer is? And what has that got to do with me?
Well, you always respond to those. Such a rare name. You would think.
What is the name that was the most named female or male 20 years ago, so that I can assume that, or 30 years ago, so I can assume it's somebody that might be in their network and just use that name.
Tiffany, Ashley, Amber from 30 years ago.
There you go. And just put that in there, and then they'll assume that it could be one of 4 or 5 people, and you're trying to figure out which one.
Insane.
Brynne, I'm curious, you had Ghost and Post as one of yours.
Yes, that's a big one. So Ghost and Post is a couple of things, right? Number one, I put out content. I never re-engage with the people that are engaging. So people put in a comment and I don't go back and comment. And on average, there should be double the comments of your commenters because you should be commenting on everyone's comment. I know I said comment a lot, but I mean it. The other thing is the Ghost and Post in that we put it out there and hope and pray that people show up. We need to invite people to engage on our content. And so, the only way we're going to get people to our content initially is, number one, engaging on their content. LinkedIn will reward you. The more you engage on other people's content, the more they'll see your content. So that's number one. So you have to be active. You can't just post and think people are going to show up when I'm not showing up for them, right? So that's really important. And when you put out content and there's zero activity, and then you put out more content with zero activity, when people get there, it's a ghost town. they go, oh, they have 17 articles, 1 like, 2 comments, 3 reactions. And like, that's worse than no content at all. Okay.
I think I'm a spooky ghost imposter.
I have
Sorry,
a
Liz.
Has anybody ever called up the sales rep's boss and say, I just got to share this experience I had with your rep?
I haven't called them, but once or twice I've gotten an email so egregious that I've forwarded it and just said, you've got to sequence an automation, or like I try to be as gracious as possible and just say, you've got a sequence or an automation or something that's gone haywire here. Right.
I had a one-on-one experience. So and actually Liz was with me at this event, but there was someone who spoke from the stage who I thought was fabulous. And actually there were 2 people, both that had C-suite groups, and I was interested in joining one. So I reached out to both of them. They signed, the first one sent me a calendar invite while I was still at the event to schedule a time with their sales rep. I came home, I had a conversation with the sales rep, and they did everything we talked about. They had scarcity, and I was like, let me think about this. I'm talking to another company. I want to compare them, but if you sign up today, we're going to give you this and this, and sign up. And I just said I had another company to talk to. And he was so aggressive, and I had my note taker in the meeting. I sent my note taker to the CEO.
Nice.
See the whole video, and he came back and he's like, I am so sorry this was your experience. And by the way, I signed up with C-Suite Network at $1,000 a month. So my business went elsewhere. Just saying. So sharing that.
I actually had on LinkedIn 5 people from the same company connect with me in like 2 days that were all trying to sell me something. And so I found the CEO and wrote to the CEO and said, hey, maybe you guys should check like who's contacting who, because this is crazy. And his response was, oh, well, I'm so glad you contacted me. So are you going to buy from us? I'm like, no, because you're annoying me. Tell them to stop connecting with me, or I'm going to block them.
I don't even know why you connected with me yet.
So, right? So anyway, the scary thing about this is exactly what Brynne talked about, which is there are people out there telling salespeople to do these things, to be creepy, to be aggressive, to threaten, to manipulate. They're out there teaching it. And there's a guy, Brynne, you and I saw on the stage at Sales 3.0, who now is doing TikTok videos that go on to Facebook. And I watch the stuff that he does. And what's really fun is watching the comments about what he's doing, because he keeps showing up in my feed. And the people are just like, this is gross. This is rude.
I wonder if it's the same
disgusting
company. I don't think it is, though.
No, it was somebody who was doing sales training, and he's all over. I mean, he's TikToking like crazy, and he's TikToking out spooky, creepy, yucky stuff that we don't want salespeople doing. Yes, you can manipulate people into making a buying decision. You can do that. You can threaten some people into doing stuff. You can frighten some people. Is that who you want your customers to be? And is that the reputation you want your company to have? Because every one of those salespeople out there in the field is the reputation of your company. Well, and I will never buy from somebody who treated me the way though he's suggesting you treat people. And I would never buy from a company. I was in one of those calls where I had somebody recently trying to sell me a virtual assistant. And he was like, if you don't buy it today, then the price doubles. And I'm like, well, I don't make decisions like that. I never make a decision in the moment. I had a car dealership do the same thing to me the other day. I'm like, I do not make decisions like that. I guarantee you, I will not make a decision today. Well, then you're not going to get.
I had a car dealership do the same thing. And I was just like, you can use your scarcity tactics, but they're not going to work on me. That's not a trigger for me.
I had a car dealership call my husband.
Oh my God. So I had a car dealership do that to me recently, and I bought the same car for less money somewhere else. And then he emailed me and said, we still haven't sold this car. We're willing to negotiate. I'm like, well, you should have been willing to negotiate when I was willing to buy.
Well, I'd like to add on to the very, very good point that you made, Liz, about reputation. I can't, as a representative of brands, I can't go without saying this. It's more than just your reputation. It's more than just the impression that person leaves, like what we think of that person. It affects your brand. Right? Reputation is a piece of that, right? But it affects your brand. Your brand is not a logo, an identity, a slogan, a saying. It is not those things. Those are pieces that we use, right? But your brand is a sum of the experience that people have with your brand. And often all of these examples that we just gave are the very first experience that someone is having with your brand. And if they're that bad, it's also the last experience that someone is having with your brand, right? So it is a much bigger problem. So when each of us have shared that we shared something back that was particularly egregious, we actually were showing love to that brand. Like there was something that made us feel like somebody needed to know that like this doesn't seem to match with what I think the impression of your company is with the experience I just had. Like, here's a flag for you to kind of see that, right? Like, it really is a big deal, and it goes beyond just sales. Like some people, like you said with that training, will say like, oh, well, they just have a different sales philosophy. No, this impacts your brand. It's not just a sales philosophy, right? If you have somebody and you're like, oh, but they hit their numbers. Okay, but it won't do you good in the long run, right? Like your brand will become being known for that because it is the first and often the last experience, if that's the type of experience that people have.
Well, and like we talked about in the last episode, part of your brand is that you discount at the end of every year. That becomes your brand if you discount at the end of every year. So all of these things about your company become your brand, and it does follow you. All right, you guys, any last thoughts on spooky, creepy salespeople?
Reps, if you know another rep who's spooky or creepy, tell them. Just tell them.
Reps, if you know another person who's spooky or creepy at a competitor, make sure you're doing the opposite because it's really easy to shine.
I love it.
Send them a link to this podcast.
No, I'm going to follow the same Polygon. You just look so much better. It's like this easy brand halo that you get.
Yeah, employ my C's: curiosity, creativity, compassion as you're having these conversations. Yeah. If your sales manager is telling you to do these things, you may be at the wrong company, or you may need to reach up to your sales leadership and say, hey, is this really what we want to be doing? Don't hang out at a company, because while they're damaging their reputation, they're also damaging yours if that's what they're telling you to do. So this is not good selling. This is not the stuff that builds brands and grows companies. This is the stuff that hits short-term goals, and we want to hit long-term goals and continue to grow and scale. Brynne, did you have one last comment? It looked like you had something to say.
Well, I'm just reading comments in the stream. I guess the one last thing is, if you show up authentically wanting to help resolve an issue that a client might have, you won't be creepy. But if you show up with the intent to make a sale, chances are creepy will seep out. So
authentically creepy.
Try a different career. Or go into car sales.
There you go. I know some great car salespeople. So, all right, you guys, thanks for spending time with us today. We will see you at our next episode of Sales. The Sales SOS podcast. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great day and happy selling. And that's a wrap of this episode of the Sales SOS podcast. A huge thank you to our experts for throwing us a lifeline with their insights. We hope today's episode has equipped you to navigate the sales seas with confidence. Never miss an episode. Subscribe to the Sales SOS podcast on your favorite platform. If you have questions, comments, or topics you'd like us to explore, join us live on LinkedIn every second Friday, or share your questions on YouTube or LinkedIn. Until next time, keep sailing towards those sales goals. I'm Liz Heiman, Your captain here at the Sales SOS podcast saying smooth sailing and successful selling.